work, I used to have another one. I used to do 3 jobs.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start with the approval of the agenda. Any additions or corrections, Dan?
No.
No.
Got the one ad under visitors to council, we'll have the ICS folks.
Okay. And then, did you update the packet on that resolution that I told you that made the city of Wanamango? Okay, so it's been corrected, okay. Anything, Ryan?
No.
No?
Can I have you put into the attorney just an update on the Vale property purchase under attorney?
Is that gonna be closed or open?
It's gonna be closed, but it's gonna be
Okay.
recorded.
So, Vale property recorded, okay. So we'll add that under attorney's report. That's all we have there, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as changed.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Dan. Have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to the consent agenda. Any questions for administration on that?
I do have one.
Okay.
Under A2, the EDA, in the minutes, under number 5, it kind of goes and then stops like there's something missing. It says, Robert has been working closely with the CEDA Grants Department to determine, and there's no more. It's like I don't know if it got cut off.
The second page is missing,
Second page is missing, is that?
so maybe Linda can update it. That's all Robert sent me.
Okay, it goes from 5 to 8.
Have a back page on the first page.
So I don't
No,
know.
what we can do is we can just defer that approval of those minutes. Until
Sure,
next.
it just,
No, I can see what you're talking about, and I would imagine it just got scanned in wrong or something
Sure.
like that probably.
Okay, so we'll pull I off and we'll add that to the next agenda.
That sounds good.
Right.
it just confused me.
Oh, good catch.
Okay, anything else? Ryan, Mel? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Dan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Mel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go. Motion carries. Visitors of council, we've got ICS here with a couple updates for us, so you're up.
Thanks for allowing me to just come and give a quick update. First one is on the library. I met with the library board last night just to give them an update. We're going to be issuing the drawings after we reviewed those yesterday with them. This week, we'll be having a pre-bid on December 7th, or actually November 29th, sorry, and then a bid opening on the 7th so that we can report back to council that following day, the Wednesday. So, anticipate good interest from contractors out there based on those that we've been reaching out to, and schedule would be to have it wrapped up by May of next year. So we are going to have contractors allow them to work over the winter if they choose to do so, but some of that will be based on procurement of materials and just means and methods. We're giving them some options to choose. So, and depending on how hard of a winter we have too this year. So that being said, we'll work with the library to help them come up with some solutions to some of the areas where they've had some water intrusion just over the winter and alleviate that a little bit as well. And then update on the fire station. Met last week with the EMS committee. The main goal of that meeting was to really go through the program and the budget, as we had discussed at the previous city council meeting, just see if there was any things that could be cut or reduced. I think it was a great exercise in doing so. The fire station is sized appropriately, I think is what we found. Everyone in the EMS committee agreed with that. The police station, if you were to look at that, actually we found some more efficiencies in that, so that number dropped a little bit. But it's still obviously above that other number. At this point, basically, you know, ICS is your consultant that's helping you through this. We're at a point where we really can't do much more. The program's the program, I think. Some decisions need to be made at the council level. What we'd be looking for, to further investigate would have to be authorization to proceed with some drawings. As mentioned during the EMS committee, the police station's actually a fairly efficient building, with very little circulation. There may be some efficiencies we could find through design for the fire station, but you can't do that in a program exercise. You really need to start putting pen to paper, so, that's kinda where we're at there, so, obviously you can ask questions now, or I can hang around and answer questions during the committee reports as well.
And I wasn't at the EMS meeting, but I know, speaking with Chris Ballard, it seems to me that the logical next step would be to draw this out so that we can see if there are additional economies of size that we can make, to create the kind of cost savings that we're looking at. But I'd leave it to the chair member, of the EMS meeting, if you have anything else we wanted to lead up.
I don't think so. I mean, I think we are at that point where that is, as Chris has said, it's the logical next step, because they've done everything they can do to get the numbers down as far as they can at this point. If we start trying to reduce square footage, then you're reducing the efficacy of the building, which ultimately becomes somewhat self-defeating.
Well, and I think to his point too is, we may be able to reduce square footage, but now without having, I mean, we won't know until we actually have the drawings.
Right.
And we can go, okay, is there a way to stack something? I mean, that's kind of what you're getting at, I think, isn't it, Chris?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, because, I mean, that's where I'm at, is if we want to develop this concept and have it as something that we can have as marketable and reviewable, it needs to be created.
Right.
You know, otherwise it's just kind of in the cloud.
What it also does is it allows you to maintain your schedule as of right now, for a 2023 open, but still not really committing to the larger ask, I guess, at this point. But still keeps us on track. Hopefully the bid market, hopefully the interest rates stay where they're at. But overall, it keeps us on track with that overall schedule.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do until we see drawings, so.
I mean, so were you looking for a motion then from council to proceed with drawing phase?
I guess that's up to you. I don't know if that's what you require,
I think that's
but...
probably what we want to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if that's what you need to do, yes, that's ultimately what we probably need.
What kind of cost do you think will be associated with that, Chris?
It's a percentage of the construction cost. I can look it up on my computer quick and just report to you on that.
Yeah, if you could look it up, that'd be great to know, just so we know what we're working with. But
Sure.
I mean, to me, that's the logical next step. It doesn't lock us into anything, but it does give us a design too, which is beneficial because we actually have something to talk about. Because right now, we're talking about an idea,
Right.
basically.
All right.
I'll look it up on my computer. I can't read that print. Sorry.
And that percentage is already in the soft cost overall?
Yeah, that's already factored into the soft cost, so that's not above and beyond that budget we've been showing everyone.
Okay, so it's not an additional cost what we're
No,
talking about?
no,
Okay,
that's
so we're
not-
not
that's already
approving
factored
additional
in.
cost, it's already there.
Correct.
Okay, so we can approve that then, if that's what council, at least give the direction. Everybody feel that, I mean, there's really nothing else we can do until we see something concrete on paper. So, I'll make that motion to proceed with that.
Second.
Drawings, okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, appreciate it. And, yeah, so when you get something, we'll
Yep.
take the next step.
We'll provide a schedule to Tim in terms of how, we'll start seeing that. We'll have a series of meetings that'll probably help inform those drawings and report back at that point.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, have a good night.
As well.
One thing, Chris, I did miss this on the consent agenda too, the A2F. The resolution says it's for the WPA walls, not for from the Karen chair. It's the donation to the fire video services.
Did we pick up the right one? Because we just had one from the
It's just the
WPA.
heading's wrong, but everything else is.
Okay, yeah, the heading needs to change then.
I knew it was something else, and I didn't write it down, and I just saw it.
I can't leave for 1 week.
Yeah, we'll get that changed before I
That's
sign
just
it.
grammatical error.
Before I sign it, we'll make sure it's
Just
correct.
thought we better at least note that, and
No, that's good, thank you. Okay,
I couldn't think of it.
Oh, I'm the one who typed it up wrong. I copied it.
It's not a big deal, but...
so the mayor's report, just a couple things, just to highlight some stuff going on. I'd like to thank all the veterans. Veterans Day is tomorrow, so I know we have at least one veteran here. Any other veterans in the room? Anybody? But thank you for your service, Tim. Defusing bombs or whatever it is you did, so, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then just to highlight too, at the school, we've got some, you know, the play's going on, so if you can get a chance to get there, spread it around, I hear it's really good. Thanks for doing that, Mel.
What are the times for that?
Friday and Saturday at 7, Sunday at 2 at the high school.
And then we've got our volleyball team is competing at the state tournament tonight at 7 o'clock. The football team, state tournament tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And we did have our bowling club they do some kind of a club tournament, and the JV's going to the state tournament, and the varsity's doing the super regional, which will go on to the state tournament. And we had 2 kids in the cross-country team run at the state tournament. So a lot of kids representing their community, school, and families around, so congratulations to all of them. Public forum, I don't have any cards, so we'll go on to new business, H1, the CETA contract for professional services.
You guys discussed that at your EDA board meeting?
Just tentatively, I mean, we already approved, it was approved in our budget, it was just the normal increase that happens every year, and
So you're looking for council approval tonight?
we approved it on the EDA board that was there.
I know that staff has discussed the long-term situation with CETA, and we do think that in 2022, we'd like to retain that contract.
Yep.
However, discussions with, staff, Nancy and myself, budget-wise, we do think we want to look at eventually insourcing those services. If we can insource that and some of the planning services, we'd see some cost savings, and also
Okay.
that would provide us with greater flexibility, but not in 2022, possibly in 2023.
Okay, all right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract for 2022.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I made that motion.
Yes, you did. You're crazy tonight.
Inquiry from Troy Tumbleson.
Now, this is an inquiry from a gentleman who had a substantial water loss. He had, you can read the letter to yourself. He had a substantial water loss, and he's asking for some bill forgiveness. Realistically, the emails are included there. In the past, the council has done different things. Most recently, last year, they did a partial bill forgiveness for a gentleman who had a water pipe break during his winter vacation. He was in Florida, and I know the council did a partial forgiveness for that. They actually forgave the sewer component of it, which I think if we want to be consistent, that might be what we would take a look at, because obviously the water did flow for the pipe, whether it was his fault or anyone else's, that's not our place to say, but it does make sense to me that, the sewer might be a little different from that, but that's certainly up to the council. I do feel like, in my past experience, it is kind of a one-strike rule also. If somebody comes in and says, I've had this issue, we want to help them, but also we want it to not occur again. And so we need people to really be conscientious about that, because it's a cost to the city in that way, so.
And I mean, what we've done since I've been here, I think it's 3 or 4 times, we've basically taken the sewer off.
Mhm.
They still paid for the water because it went through the meter and the water was used and pumped and everything. So, being consistent, I can see that. And I've had that very same thing happen at one of our commercial properties. The water softener sticks open and the water just flies through there. So,
This isn't the last bill, though? They'll have like 20,000,
Gallons.
30,000 on the next
yeah,
bill?
I'd say just whatever his normal overage is, whatever his overage is over the normal bills, like he's got detailed there, whatever the total is, that we would forgive the sewer
Okay.
this time. I mean, that's my opinion, unless someone else has a...
Do we know when our new software is gonna be working
Well, the Tamil system actually is operating.
but is that only for electric, or does it work on the
Well, in
water?
the fullness of time, it's gonna be in water. However, right now, the water department is having a really hard time getting the new radios. They are substantially backlogged. They actually have the water meters, but the
Mhm.
radio that sends out the electronic signal, that's read by the system. We are getting, they have installed the network in a large portion of town already, and we are getting those readings. They're actually coming into the system, and Nancy can talk about it a little bit too, because she maybe sees it more than I do. But I know that we're still on track for implementation over that period of time, the 27-month period of time that we had looked at.
Mhm.
We may accelerate a little bit. We're looking at some software options too, but the good thing about that would be, I think your point is, we might be able to catch this a little bit sooner for the resident, or the resident might be able to catch it themselves.
Right.
However, with different households, it's
Oh, yeah, no, I agree, it's not gonna be perfect, it's just when it spikes to this quantity, somebody's gonna red flag sooner than...
Do you need a motion for
yeah,
this
I think
on
a
that?
motion that would be appropriate.
I'd make the motion that we forego the sewer charge after his normal...
And it'd be in excess of his normal sewer
Yeah,
consumption.
yeah.
Right.
Correct. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Mel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Engineers report. Was there an administrator's report?
There sure is.
Sorry, Brandon.
No, it's all right. No, I mean, you're skipping over the
As
important
you
stuff
see
here, that's all right. No, actually, you saw the utility rate study, that was come out, tonight. Hopefully you've been able to drive on the 10th Avenue. It's,
Nope. Still
Yeah.
closed.
Well, okay, well,
There's like one more barricade, they're taking it down tonight.
okay, well, there you go, then you'll be
They
able
were
to drive
still
on.
working on it, putting the,
I mean, thankfully, they should be pretty well buttoned up now, though.
Yep.
Because with the weather turn today, I mean, this was pretty much it. So, we're excited to be able to drive on that, it's gonna be great for the residents up there, we're looking forward to having that done. Chris here talked about the library, but they're scheduled there, they're just doing a great job over at the library with programming. Really, pleased to have all the things going on there. And then, the other thing, just to remind you, is that we do have a lot of projects coming up, and I've asked the department heads to make sure they get all their final budget items into us, and make sure that the capital items, for example, met with the library board last night to talk about their parking lot project for next year, and we've got a concept that they've come up with, so, well, other than that, I was out of the office last week, and I just want to praise our staff. They did a good job of keeping everything going. We've got a really good staff here, so I'm thankful for that, so.
Good. Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tim? Okay. On to the engineers report.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. Your council packet is a resolution approving plans and specifications for the Fairgrounds Water Tower project. It's a project, kind of long-term project in the making, so I won't go into too many details unless you'd like me to, but there's a resolution to ultimately advertise for bid. By authorizing this resolution, we'll go out to bid, publicly bid the project on December 9th at 10 o'clock. I'll be back at the December meeting to consider entering into contract to ultimately construct this project in 2022. In your council packet is also the advertisement of bids. That's kind of the nuts and bolts that engineers and contractors use to publicly bid a project. And in addition to that is the construction plans. Kind of some highlights here. There is an easement agreement that we had at the last council meeting, or a couple council meetings ago, excuse me, with the county to kind of secure an easement there. So the first couple pages, you can see the water line extension into kind of the center of the fairgrounds. It's really underserved from a fire protection perspective, so that's included in the project. That was part of the agreement with the county. In addition to that, as you kind of go through them on page 3, shows that extension to our city water line on 5th Avenue. Sheet 4 there kind of shows the site plan there of the new water tower. Again, it's going to be a couple hundred feet north of the current water tower, kind of in the fairgrounds area there. We'll be extending a water line off of 5th to serve that water tower. That's sheet number 4. Sheet number 5 there, after we construct the new water tower, we're going to bring the controls from the water tower to the north onto the new water tower, make sure everything's operational, then take the old water tower down. That is part of the project here. In addition to that, there's the old well house that the racetrack entrance kind of straddles around there. We're going to be removing that well house as part of this project, and then putting some aggregate surfacing down there to kind of clean that lot up, remove some of the footings, remove some of the valving. So when we're all done here, we're going to kind of have a clean lot here with just the entrance to the racetrack when we're all said and done. So that's part of the project. Sheet 6 and 7 are some details I won't go into, construction details. Sheet 8 there shows the water tower there. Previous council direction was to paint it exact same as the CHS tower over by the railroad tracks. You can see we got an example picture there, so we're going to paint it that same style. One item of note, talking with staff, we did recommend a 750-gallon capacity water tower to look at serving about 14,000 people.
1,000 gallons.
Yeah, 750,000,
Okay.
excuse me. Say 750,000.
750 gallons.
No, a little more than that. So
Okay.
750,000 gallons. So that's going to be bid number 8.
Be a little low cost for that one, then.
You can't shower anymore.
Yeah, the north end of town will be a little lacking water. So 750,000 gallons is bid A, so that's going to be one bid item. The second one is going to be a 500,000 gallon tower to look at, a slightly smaller tower. Staff wanted to kind of see a price comparison on the size of the tower, with the anticipation that if we build a third tower to the south, maybe we can reduce the size of the tower. So it's something I want to see kind of moving forward, because there's some limitations if we go with the 500,000, but maybe some advantages of moving a tower on the south end of town, on the other side of the highway, so.
What's the size of the existing?
100,000.
Yeah, it is 100,000, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We
we've got
gotta-
100,000 there, we've got 450,
450
CHS.
CHS, so.
so total right now is 550,000.
Okay.
So even if we did do the 500,000, we're still looking at doubling the
Capacity of the system.
capacity. So I know that, I appreciate Brandon looking at that alternate, because we know the price of steel is also way up too, so we're trying to be flexible there.
So ultimately, just to rough math, it would serve a population of about 14,000 people, all said and done.
500,000.
On the no, on the 750,000.
Okay.
The larger option, I'd have to calculate what the 500,000 gallon would be.
I think we looked at it was like 12.5 or something like that.
So we'll be back in December to talk about this more in a little bit more detail at that time, so. It doesn't cost anything more to bid it that way, so it's a consideration, but I wanna review and have more of a big picture discussion on the different alternatives, because again, we recommended the 750, and we even considered $1 million at one point. You gotta be careful building too much storage and the water becomes stagnant, can be problematic, so. A little balancing long-term goals and growth and building towers, and building a third tower is obviously more expensive than likely building a larger tower now, so we'll balance that out and come back with a recommendation.
One question on the construction part of it. This is all on the fairgrounds. Is there gonna be any, you mentioned like tying into Fifth and some different things. Are there gonna be any road closures that we'll need to coordinate if 57 is closed?
No.
No,
not-
okay.
not
I
that
didn't know
I'm
if there'd
expecting.
be any.
Fifth, we might have tore up for a day. Fifth may be a day that we'll have to close that road down, so we'll have to coordinate that with 57.
Okay.
Other than
Just things that
maybe
wouldn't be
7.
your,
Probably more of a road interruption.
Yeah, 'cause
than anything else.
Fifth is gonna see a fair amount of traffic during the construction of 57. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's what I
the
was-
kind of backage road for the east side of town,
just
so.
thought.
We'll look at, we can also sneak around the subdivisions in that area too, so if we had to close that section, we could sneak around in the subdivisions that's open through that area, so.
Okay,
We'll get through that.
all right.
So with that said, there is a resolution to consider to, again, go out for bids for the project and be back in December to consider entering into a contract with a tower contractor. We do need to get going on this sooner than later, because it takes a long time to procure materials and steel and get it in the contractor's queue to build a water tower, so.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Ryan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Mel.
Just one addition in the discussion on this would be the meeting would be on the 8th, not on the 9th of December, so we'd want to have those in, I think, don't we? Do we want them to have it for the meeting, the second meeting in December, or are you waiting to have them take a look at this in January?
Because we moved our meeting to the first
Tell me again when the meetings are in
and
December?
8th in December.
Linda just pointed that out to me.
Oh,
that it says
gotcha.
9th on there.
I forget all that stuff.
We will bid it December 8th then, and then I will not have the numbers in the council packet. We'll have a blank numbers, and then we'll bring it to the meeting, or we'll update the Dropbox, yep. So we'll bid it at 8th at 10 o'clock, so one tweak to the resolution, we'll be good with that.
Okay, so the resolution was made that the date's gonna change to the 8th from the 9th.
That's right.
But it's the same resolution to go out for bid, so.
Absolutely, yep.
I go with that? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes.
Thank you, good catch.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. All right, on to the attorney's report. We've got 3 closed sessions. We've got a closed session for attorney-client privilege, which will not be recorded, correct?
Correct.
And then we've got union negotiations, that will be recorded, and the update on the Vale property purchase, which will be recorded. So we'll go to 3 closed sessions. When we're done, we'll open the meeting back up. If you choose to go home, have a good night.
Stay dry.
Stay dry, yeah, run to your car. We're gonna close the meeting for the first closed session.